So, I'm crying as I type this, because what I just saw has got to be the single scariest shit that I've ever witnessed, and is the reason I'm moving out of the rural part of my state the first chance I get. So, for some quick background, I live in rural Illinois, and I am a bit of a night owl, so I frequently will smoke in my garage late at night. Since I live in the country, I'm used to hearing noises around me, like weird scratching and rubbing sort of noises, which I assume are us, the rats, and mice and stuff that come with living on a farm. Anyway, I usually act like a big chicken when it comes to walking back inside after these smokes at night, despite the fact that I'm very familiar with my yard and the area around it, and always end up sprinting back to the side door and slamming it behind me without looking back. Tonight I looked back, high and assuming that I was just being afraid of the dark. I looked around for about 15 to 20 seconds, which ended up being a mistake, because I did see something out of the corner of my eye. Peeking around the side of the garage that I had just walked from stood the undeniable half silhouette of a person shrouded in darkness. Now this sight alone was enough to make the tears in my eyes start flowing and for me to fully shit my pants, but it got worse. In the shock of seeing someone where I was literally just walking away from with my back turned, I stood there for a moment with a horrified look on my face, trying to blink away the tears and hopefully the sight before me. The thing I saw must have recognized that I saw it, because the single worst thing I've ever witnessed after that happened. He took one step out past the corner of the garage and into the light of the side porch, intentionally I now think, because it wanted me to see its face. Standing there was a perfect replica of my father, but under the circumstances I didn't consider it to actually be him for a second, because I knew him for a fact to be sleeping inside the house. And what happened next definitely solidified that, because in the 10-second span I had to process what I was seeing. He, the imposter, sideways walked out into the light and just stared right at me, harder than I've ever been stared at in my entire life. When I say sideways walked, I don't mean like a karaoke stretch, or a turn run and then turn back toward me. It was as if the entire lower half of him shifted sideways while the upper portion of him stared perfectly and inhumanly still and focused on me. I didn't hesitate after that to sprint inside, shut off the light, and lock the door. I've been trying to convince myself that my mind is playing tricks on me for the last half hour in my room, except for the fact that I can distinctly hear something moving back and forth outside my window. I'm currently scared shitless in my bed under the covers, trying to make it through the night and telling myself that it's a weed hallucinations, like they claim can happen. The absolute complete worst part is the fact that I can hear it testing out voices trying to replicate my father. It's hard to describe exactly what about it is so terrifying, but it's like hearing a bear or a moose speak English, but with a lack of human vocal cords. The closest thing I can compare it to is those videos of people who teach their cats to talk. It's out there pacing and practicing the phrase over and over, son, it's me, can you give me a hand? Son, can you give me a hand, sometimes more angry and booming, sometimes softly. The most chilling part that will be the reason I don't sleep tonight is the fact that I just heard it say, I know you're still awake. Me and my wife head off camping each year around the summer. We always go to the same camping site. I remember it was late one evening as we set up camp and we both had a terrible feeling that we were being watched. I don't know how to describe the feeling, but we felt something wasn't right. Anyway, we took a short walk to take our minds off things and gathered firewood for when we got back, while still having that feeling that someone was watching us. We headed back to our tent before dark and had a good fire going. We felt more at ease at this point and just enjoyed the rest of the night. I must have woke up around midnight, hearing heavy footsteps from right outside our tent. I wasn't that brave to check by myself, and I was just laying there and listening to whatever that was. Morning came, and we left early and headed home. Not long after returning home, we got a call from the park ranger to confirm our fear that we were being stalked by a full-grown mountain lion the entire time.